Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Daily Betslip. It is myself. It is Donnavan Smoot. We are also joined by a special guest, Daisy, for today's show. She's going to give us her locks for tonight as well. But yeah, jam-packed show because we have all the sports going on now. We got best bets for tonight, including NHL, NBA, and the college football game between Georgia State and Appalachian State. We got community picks. We got early leans for NFL Week 7. And, of course, game of the night is ALCS Game 1 between the Astros and the Yankees. Be sure to vote in the poll for the community pick of the night. If you're on YouTube, the poll should be right there in the chat. And I believe the poll should still be live over on Twitter as well. So, yeah, let's dive right into things here, Donnavan. I know you got some NBA picks coming up, but we got some community picks here first. A couple of them are NBA picks. So I'm going to get your thoughts on that. So let's take a look at some community picks. First one, MG_locks. Astros -1, -145. This is our game of the night here, of course. Taillon allows 3.20 batting average, 411 WOBA, and 429 X slugging to Houston batters. That is quite the advanced analytics he's thrown at us there. JV, that's Justin Verlander, allows a 169 average, 232 WOBA, and a 394 X slugging. Yanks traveled to Houston last night / this morning after playing a 5-game series. What do the Yanks do better than Houston? I would say probably hit home runs, but that might just be it. So I will have our pick on that game at the end of the show, so we won't give it away now. I do want to check in on the chat. Luke Schill, our good friend, is back. I'm down so effing bad right now. I hate gambling. I always fall back into this addiction, and it puts me in awful situations every time. That being said, please give me a lock tonight. In all seriousness, might want to reduce your unit size, my friend. If that's a serious thing that you're saying, and if you do hate gambling, reduce your unit size, and it's going to make those losses a little bit more easy to deal with. But we will have picks for tonight that we will responsibly gamble on. Let's take a look at the next community pick. I believe it is an NBA player prop. So I'm going to get your insight on this, Donnavan. Damian Lillard over 23.5 points. I'm guessing Damian Lillard is still on the Trailblazers as far as I'm aware. Yeah. They take on the Kings in Sacramento tonight. Any thoughts on Damian Lillard, Donnavan?
Yeah, I really like this over for Dame. So the backcourt has kind of been restructured. It's him and Anthony Simons now. But Damian is finally healthy. He spent the first part of last season injured. He had an abdominal injury, but he took a majority of last season off. He's back for this season. And so I think that Sacramento, while they do have some defensive pieces in terms of like Davion Mitchell, he might be able to stick on Dame. This is Damian Lillard that we're talking about. He's one of the best players in the league whenever he's healthy. He's back healthy. So in game 1, expect him to start strong. So I like this a lot.
I will say I got the NLCS game 1 going on in the background. Phillies just take the 1-0 lead for anyone who's looking for a live update for that. Okay, Damian Lillard over 23.5 points. It's good to have NBA back, even though I'm not a big NBA guy. I might dip my toe in the water with some player props here.
Come over to the dark side this year. Come over to the dark side.
I might. I did do some player props last year. I had decent success. I might try it again this year and maybe get a little bit, dip my toe into the water a little bit deeper this year. Luke Schill says, my bookie's minimum bet size is a crime against humanity unless you're winning and not an avalanche. Listen, my friend, there are it's 2022. Don't use bookies. I'm guessing that means you're in a not regulated state. If you're not in a regulated state, I don't know if I can officially say use offshore books, but use offshore books. Come on, it's 2022. Stop using bookies.
DM us and we'll help you out.
Exactly. DM me, dude. Come on, it's 2022. You can't use bookies. Bookies that have a minimum bet size. Come on. Get with the times, Luke. I can help you out, my friend. Send us a DM. All right. I think we still have a couple more community picks here. We can bring up the next one. Hot takes with TP3. Hashtag Pura Vida. Which is the Spurs, San Antonio Spurs hashtag, I suppose, are 14-1 straight up last 15 home openers. Little home opener trend. These fans will be hyped tonight. The Hornets have no replacement for Melo and Bridges out. Spurs should win this one. Donovan, any thoughts on the Spurs against who was it? The Hornets tonight?
Yeah, and I'm 100% on this play as well. The Hornets. Miles Bridges is out with legal trouble right now, and he's currently not on the team and not with the team. LaMelo Ball, he's out as well with an ankle injury, and so that's 40 points from last season that they don't have coming into this game. I know that the Spurs also traded away DeJounte Murray, but the Hornets, who already had a bad defense last year, don't have their top two scorers. They have Gordon Hayward and Terry Rozier to lean on, so that's going to be able to like keep them in it. But I'm trusting coaching in this game, and so there's not a lot of coaches that are much better than Greg Popovich. So I'll take the Spurs, and so I like this play a lot.
Spurs are currently 1 point underdogs, at least at FanDuel, so pretty close spread there tonight. And I think we have one more. I think, or was that it? Yeah, one more. Here we go. Sean Mitchelson at DeSoxFan24, back with a little MLB pick here. Astros first 5 run line minus 0.5. Minus 135. Verlander against Taillon. Verlander 1.64 home ERA with 7 innings pitched against New York, giving up 1 earned run. Opponents average 180 first 2 times through the order. Astros most profitable first 5 inning team this year. Taillon ERA almost full run higher on the road and was pounded for 6 earned runs by Houston in June. So there you have it. I like that pick as well. Sean Mitchelson always comes in with some good picks. But once again, we'll give it our bets for the game of the night at the end of the show. And I think we have one more community pick. Ooh, another little player prop. Al Galicia at Ohey Pal. Capella. Clint Capella, I believe, over 10.5 rebounds, plus 105 against the Rockets. Average 11.9 last season. Last 2 versus Rockets was 16 and 13, including a blowout game. Houston bottom 5 in rebounds allowed to the center position last year at 17 reboundings per game. I think that's a fantastic stat. Houston bottom 10 in opponent rebounds allowed. Atlanta 7th in the same stat last year. So that is Clint Capella for the Hawks, taking on the Rockets, over 10.5 rebounds. Any thoughts on that one, Donovan?
So I like it on the surface. The only thing that I might be a little bit nervous about is that the Hawks are trying to bring along their young center, Onyeka Okongwu. And so him and Capella, they don't really fit together on the floor that much. And so Capella's minutes actually dropped last year. He was playing 30 minutes before, I guess, 2 seasons ago. Last season, he played 27 minutes. Let's see if he, takes another drop. So that's the only thing that I would be worried about, is that he might not be on the floor long enough to get those 10.5 rebounds. But against the Rockets, again, he dominated last season. So if he's able to, again, this pick is really just about how much is Capella going to play. And if he's out on the floor for a substantial amount of time, then I like it. So I may wait on this one just to see what the Hawks are going to do and what their lineup looks like. And then moving forward, we can start talking about Capella rebounds.
That is a great tidbit. Great advice there for Clint Capella. Great little insight there, Donovan. Luke Shields says, again, I feel like I have to take the Cavs tonight in the points to save my bum. Yeah. Those guys made me a little scratch last year. I believe they were one of the most profitable teams to bet on in NBA last year. Cavaliers plus 2.5 point underdogs against the Toronto Raptors. Any thoughts on that game, Donovan?
I'm on the Cavs as well in that one. I think that their combination of a dynamic scoring backcourt in Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell, and then you have elite rim protection with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in the back end. They just have a lot of talent. They have a lot of firepower, kind of everywhere that you want to go. I'm not sure if Toronto's offense is going to be able to keep up with Cleveland, so I would take Cleveland. I might even look at the under in this one because, again, Toronto's half-court offense isn't really great. They don't have a lot of shot creation. So, but Luke, I do like the Cavs, and the fact that they are underdogs, you can get them at plus money, might be able to save your night.
Love it. Let's get into our best bets for tonight, Donovan. I believe you have 3 in the NBA, and I have 2 in the NHL, and then 1 for tonight's college football game. So why don't we alternate back and forth? You go first, Donovan, and then we'll finish off with my college football pick at the end here. Ben Heisler says, last chance to get your precious Achille most improved player bets at 100 to 1.
Okay. Listen, I don't like we'll see. That's not my pick. All of us came out yesterday, and we all made our official picks for for most improved. I don't know if Precious is going to be able to get his scoring numbers up high enough to get him to be the most improved player. I'm taking Josh Giddey, who averaged 12 points last year and didn't shoot that well from three or from the field. If he can raise that up, um, I think that he can make that jump because he does everything else really, really well. He's currently 49-1 at FanDuel to win most improved. But
Really
so yeah.
quick, really quick. Would you like to guess who my best bet for most improved player is?
Oh, you're taking Luka Garza.
There you go. Let's go.
You're taking
Let's
Luka
go.
Garza. I know.
I'm just gonna try to squeeze in Luka Garza into as many of these episodes as possible. Me and Ben talked about him at length yesterday, so I don't want to dive too deep into Luka Garza. I'm gonna get a Minnesota Timberwolves Luka Garza jersey though. But for tonight, Donovan, let's get into our picks. What's your first best bet in the NBA tonight?
Yeah, so I'm going to Luka Garza's former team, the Detroit Pistons, and
Ooh.
I'm taking a rookie Jaden Ivey over 11.5 points minus 104. I'm a really, really big fan of Jaden Ivey. He is going to be a great player. He's super fast. He can get downhill. His skills complement what Cade Cunningham, who was third in Rookie of the Year voting last year, Jaden Ivey's skills complement Cunningham very, very well to make them a perfect backcourt duo. I think at 11.5 points, you're getting kind of a steal. I think he should probably be closer to around 13.5, but that's kind of where you're seeing Paolo Banchero, the number one pick, is at. But Ivy he's the starting guard right now. The Pistons don't have a lot of great depth at the guard position, so whenever Cunningham goes out, Ivy's going to be able to come in, run the show. You have a lot of guys that are going to kind of need the ball to score with Cunningham, Ivy, Sadiq Bey, Bojan Bogdanovic, but again, all of those guys are in the starting unit. Once you start getting into the rotation and Ivy is starting to lead the team, he's going to be able to get downhill, get into the teeth of the defense. He's going to be able to get out in transition, get his points there. So I think at 11.5 points, this is kind of a steal, and so I really, really like this play.
So there you go, Jaden Ivey over 11.5 points for us to get things started off. I will say, quick update: Phillies now up 3-0 over the Padres. What a time to be a Philadelphia sports fan! You got the Phillies pretty close to a World Series here, Berth. You got the Eagles 6-0. You got the 76ers starting things off. And although they did lose last night, didn't they?
They bums. They look like they Joel Embiid did not look good. James Harden looked like James Harden again, which is very exciting for them.
And then you have the Philadelphia Flyers off to a surprising 3-0 start, but I'll get to them actually right now. There's a transition. I will once again be fading. I will be fading the Philadelphia Flyers. Attempt to for the second night in a row. Listen, this team statistically stinks. I am upset about the fact that they're 3-0 because I'm a stats guy, and them being 3-0 just defies all the numbers. I'm upset that I lost my Lightning bet on them. Lightning were up 3-2 in the third period last night and blew it. So now on the tail end of a back-to-back, the Flyers taking on the Florida Panthers. I will now go back to the well with the exact same bet I placed last night. Panthers -1.5, -135 here. Flyers ranked 30th in 5-on-5 Corsi percentage. They're only averaging 9.3 high danger scoring chances per game. That's the 7th fewest in the NHL. They aren't really doing anything well. They're shooting the puck well, and they're getting some solid goaltending. But I'm just gonna die. I will die on the hill of fading the Philadelphia Flyers. I refuse to believe they are as good as the record indicates. And I don't think it hasn't been confirmed who's starting in net for the Flyers yet. I don't think it's going to be Carter Hart, considering he played last night. So if he doesn't start, this is the perfect time to fade him. So I will take Sergei Bobrovsky and the Florida Panthers -1.5, -135 against the Flyers tonight. It's time for them to come back down to earth.
Pronunciation's on point. I love it. Love to see it.
I've been working on it, Donovan.
I like
All right, let's hear your second NBA pick.
I'm gonna go with not with the Utah Jazz. Wow. I'm gonna go with the Denver Nuggets -7 against the Utah Jazz for the simple fact that the Nuggets are good at basketball and the Jazz are going to be probably the worst team in the league this year. They traded away Donovan Mitchell, they traded away Bogdanovich, they traded away Rudy Gobert. All they have is they have Colin Sexton, who's coming off an injury. They have Mike Conley. They have Walker Kessler. and I guess Lowry Markkinen, they have a whole bunch of just guys that are probably not going to be on the team in 2-3 years. And you have a Nuggets team that has the back-to-back MVP. They're getting Jamal Murray back. They're getting Michael Porter Jr. back, and I think that the Nuggets honestly should be a double-digit favorite. I don't know why they are not. I guess we're still trying to see what version of Jamal Murray we're trying to get, but the Nuggets are destined to win this game, and I would be shocked if they didn't steamroll Utah right now. We're going to be seeing a lot of big losses for Utah this year, and I think this is the first of many for them.
There you go. Nuggets -7 against the Utah Jazz. I got one more. Luke Shield just saying in the chat here, he had Bruins money line, Flames nights over, and Sixers Celts under last night. Yeah, that's an 0-3 night. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough having an 0-3 night. I was with you, Luke, on the Bruins money line. They lost to the Senators 7-5.
I was with him on the Sixers and Celtics under, and I lost that one as well. So
there you go. So
we're in it together.
We're all in it together, Luke. The Bruins money line was a tough one. They should have beat the Senate. I don't know. 7-5 is very uncharacteristic of the Bruins. Speaking of unders, speaking of hockey, my other NHL pick here for tonight is the Jets and the Avalanche under 6.5 at even money here. The Colorado Avalanche, I know it's still early in the season, only a few games under the belt, but they're not. They don't have the offensive prowess that we saw from them last season. 23rd in 5-on-5 high danger scoring chances through the first 4 games. Meanwhile, 8th in high danger scoring chances allowed. So I don't know if this is just a result of a small sample size or changing their strategy or a result of their small adjustments on their roster. But at least through the first few games, a lot more of a defensive-oriented team compared to how offensive-oriented they were last year. Also, both goaltenders, they're both number 1 guys. Connor Hellebuyck, who's a former Vezina Trophy winner, starting for the Jets. Alexander Georgiev for the Avalanche. He's looked better through the first few games than I thought he was going to. And also, both teams rank in the bottom 8 so far this season in shooting percentage. So they're having trouble finding the back of the net. So all the way up at 6.5, and we're still getting plus money on the under. I like that quite a bit. So Jets, Avalanche, under 6.5 for my second NHL best bet for tonight. My last one is going to be a college football bet for the Sun Belt game tonight. But Donovan, first we get to that. Before we get to that, you have one more NBA play.
Yeah, I'm taking Bradley Beal over 23.5 points tonight. This is kind of the same logic that I'm following with Beal that I talked about with Damian Lillard, is that Beal was in and out of the lineup all season last year, and I think that he's going to be back. He's going to be more efficient. He had one of the he had a down shooting year across the board, and he averaged 23.5. When Beal is on top of his game, we've seen him compete for scoring titles in the NBA. He's been closer to 27, 28, even 30 points per game. The Wizards brought in Kristaps Porzingis to kind of be the second star, but this offense is still going to run through Bradley Beal. I think he bounces back this season. I think that his shooting numbers across the board go up, and against Indiana, who is also going to be one of the bottom rung teams, defensively, there's not a lot that they can throw at Bradley Beal to kind of lock him down. So I think that Bradley gets off to a really good start this season and gets to 24.
Bradley Beal over 23.5 points tonight. And my final bet is the college football game tonight. Is it Sun Belt? I said that earlier. I think that's right. I think this is Sun Belt matchup. Georgia State against Appalachian State. Is that how I pronounce that?
Yeah, that is.
Perfect. Nailed it. I'm going to take Georgia State plus the points here, plus 9.5. I think the statistics are too close to justify a 9.5 point spread. Let's take a look at a few basic ones. Yards per play, Georgia State actually outranks Appalachian State 39th to 51st. And then opponent yards per play, Georgia State's 96th. But Appalachian State isn't much better, 78th in opponent yards per play. Also, Georgia State runs the ball a ton. 64.09% of their call plays are running plays. That is the 7th highest rate in the country. They also rate 26th in yards per carry, averaging 5 yards a carry. They should find some success on the ground against Appalachian State, who ranks 43rd in opponent yards per carry. So should Appalachian State be favored? Probably. But I think the line's a little bit too big. So my best bet for the college football game tonight, Georgia State plus 9.5 against the Appalachian State Mountaineers.
Is that what they called? I don't know. They've been on College Game Day, and I still don't know what their mascot is.
Mountaineers. I nailed it. I know whenever I think of Appalachian State, I think of their huge upset against Michigan like 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That was before they were even like a Division One team or whatever. All right, so there you have it. Those are our picks. Let's go ahead and bring up our recap graphic. We still will have a pick for the game of the night, Astros, Yankees in a little bit. First, let's recap what we got so far. Panthers -1.5, -135, under 6.5, +100 for the Jets and Avalanche, and Georgia State +9.5 over App State for myself. Donovan, you're on over 11.5 points for Jay Nivey. Nuggets -7 against the Utah Jazz, and over 23.5 points for Bradley Beal. Those are our picks so far. Let's switch gears really quick and talk NFL. NFL Week 7 starts tomorrow night. I don't know about you, Donovan, but I need a big bounce back week. I went 4-10 in the NFL last week. Killed me. That's
not good. I did okay.
Definitely better than me then, because 4-10, that was a tough pill to swallow. So bounce back time. Let's talk about our early leans for this week. And is it an early pick for me? I already have it locked in. But Donovan, why don't you start us off? What game are you looking at for NFL Week 7?
Yeah, so I'm going to go to the Seahawks and Chargers game. I'm taking the Seahawks on the money line, plus 230 to beat the Chargers. And so Seattle with Kenneth Walker in there as the running back now that Rashad Penny is out, they're going to be able to do some things on the ground. Kenneth Walker is really, really good, and he showed a lot of promise last week. And it's the same. This is the same reason why I thought that Cleveland would be able to cover against the Chargers and potentially win that game 2 weeks ago. And if Denver just wasn't inept, they would have been able to do a couple things on Monday night. But the Chargers have won their last 2 games by a combined 5 points. They've really, really been grinding things out. Meanwhile, Seattle's offense, Geno Smith is cooking. He's doing what they thought Russell Wilson is going to be able to do. And Los Angeles, again, you talk about that rushing defense, 31st in the league in opponent yards per rush. The Seahawks with Kenneth Walker, they will be able to expose that. So I think that the Chargers have been playing. They've been playing with fire for the last 2 weeks, and I think it's time for them to come back down to earth this week. I think Seattle gets a big win on the road.
Yeah, I like this pick. I'm on the over in that game personally. I took Broncos money line on Monday night. I felt that should have hit. It at least looked like it was going to be pushed if the punt wasn't muffed in overtime. But I will say that I agree with you. I think the Chargers are a little bit overrated here. I tweeted out last night the net yards per play for each team in the NFL. Chargers like 26th or 27th. I don't have the numbers next to it, but pretty low in the NFL in net yards per play. They are actually tied with the Carolina Panthers in net yards per play this season. So that just goes to show you the Chargers might be a little bit overrated. If you want to take spread, if you want to take money line, I would not disagree with either of those. Like I said, I'm on the over in that game, but I'd certainly bet on Seahawks before I'd bet on the Chargers in that spot. My early lean here, my best bet for this week is the Jaguars -3 over the New York Giants. I keep trying to sell high on the Giants, and they keep winning, which is really bugging me. If they keep winning, I'm going to have to start calling them frauds at some point because the Giants stink. I know they're 5-1. I know the Giants fans are excited. I like the Giants. I like Giants fans. But I'm sorry. I got to tell it how it is. Last week, when they beat the Ravens.
Thank you so much for making this pick.
They were outgained against the Ravens 7 yards per play to 3.8 yards per play. They were outplayed up and down the field. That might set the record for the biggest discrepancy in yards per play for a team to somehow pull out the win. I don't know how they won that game. They are 27th in net yards per play heading into this week. The Jaguars are 9th. Jaguars, much better team. They should also be able to attack this Giants defense on the ground. They average 4.9 yards per carry. Giants are dead last in run defense, allowing 5.6 yards per carry. The opposite is true on the other side of things. The Giants love to run the ball. 51.37% of their offense comes on the ground, second highest rate in the NFL. And the Jaguars are third in run defense, allowing just 3.6 yards per rush. I'm sorry, Giants fans. I like Brian Daboll. I like what he's doing there, but the Giants statistically stink. It's time to fade them. I'll take the Jaguars -3.
Thank you. I like the way that you were talking about the Flyers earlier.
Right.
I feel the same way with the Giants. I hate the fact that the Giants are 5-1 right now. Eventually, they're going to have to throw the ball. and they're 30th in yards per pass. They're 31st in quarterback sacked percentage. They're 31st in passing yards per game. Eventually, that aspect of your offense is going to have to come to life and save you. And I don't trust Daniel Jones to make plays with his arm. So, yes, take the Jaguars -3. I love this pick.
Beautiful. We are both on that. So there you go. Those are our early NFL picks for this week. Starts tomorrow night between the Saints and the Cardinals. Let's talk game of the night here. It is game one of the ALCS. It is unfortunately the two least likable teams in Major League Baseball playing against each other, the Yankees and the Astros. Justin Verlander starting for the Astros. Jameson Taillon starting for the Astros. Starting for the Yankees, excuse me. We already had a few community picks earlier in the show for tonight's game, but let's talk about our best bets for the game. Donovan, you start. What way are you looking at for ALCS game one?
I'm taking the Yankees on the run line. I think that Houston has a really good chance to win this game, but I do think that it's going to be close. Listen, they've played twice in the ALCS. The first time was in 2017. The second time was in 2019, and the Yankees have obviously, this is a ridiculous trying to extrapolate a trend in terms of the Yankees covering the run line in 17. They do it again in 19, but game ones of the CS are really hard, and I know that they flew in last night and there's a lot of things going their way. I feel like a lot of people are on the Astros to come in and take game one, and that's kind of just a given. If Aaron Judge can get going a little bit, right? The Yankees were able to win that last series with Aaron Judge not playing well. If he can show up just a little bit, I think that their offense is going to be able to maybe get at least one home run and keep it close. I'm not saying that they're win, but I don't think that this is going to be a huge blowout win for Houston tonight.
So Yankees plus 1.5 NLCS game one update. Josh Bell just hit a home run. Is now 4-2 in the bottom of the second. Over bettors are in a pretty good spot right now. So there you go, though. ALCS game one, Donovan on Yankees plus 1.5. I'm just going to take Astros money line here. So there is a world, Donovan, that we can both win our bets some way, somehow. If the Astros win by one run, we will both be winners. I just can't bet on this Yankees team right now. But also, I wasn't really aggressive enough to take Astros run line. My biggest concern about the Yankees, they've been hitting home runs. But since the start of the postseason, they have a batting average of 182. I don't think that's going to get it done against the Astros. Jameson Taillon starts for them tonight, as we've mentioned, and his only start against the Astros, he gave up 10 hits and 6 earned runs and just 5.2 innings. Now he has to face AL Cy Young probable winner in Justin Verlander. I just think everything is going the Astros way here. I'm going to just lay the juice on the money line, Astros minus 188. And in the rare situation, all three of us, between you, me, and the poll, all on opposite sides. The poll results are in there on Astros minus 1.5. So you're on Yankees plus 1.5. I'm on Astros money line, and the poll is on Astros minus 1.5. So someone's going to win tonight. It could be me and you.
It could be. We can go 2-on-1, but I will just for the vibes purposes and just because I want to embody the underdog. It's me versus y'all two. And I will take that.
All right, there you have it. Astros, Yankees, game one of the ALCS tonight. And I think tomorrow night, we hit that rare sports equinox where we have everything. I think tomorrow night we have NHL, NBA, maybe not college football. We definitely have NFL. We definitely have Major League Baseball. Are you looking up to see if we have college football tomorrow night?
I am. I'm looking up to see what we have. And on Thursday, we do have college football. There's two college football games. It's Virginia at Georgia Tech and Troy at South Alabama.
And we have PGA Tour golf. And we have MLS.
Is there CFL going on tomorrow?
Oh, that's a great question.
Because if there is, if everybody in the world is...
Unfortunately not, but that's in Canada. No. So that's a different world. That doesn't count. Okay. No CFL tomorrow.
Cool. Listen, there's EPL action tomorrow as well.
So let's list it off again. We got NFL. We got MLB. We got NBA. We got NHL. We got MLS. We got college football. We got EPL. What more could you ask for? That's 7. Off the top of my head. We have golf. That's 8. PGA Tour, 8.
That's enough. That's enough.
Crazy. What a world. What a world. All right. That is our show, though. Thank you all so much for watching. I did an interview with today former Cowboy Pro Bowler 9-time Pro Bowler, in my opinion, future Hall of Famer, DeMarcus Ware. That just went live right before Daily Betslip, so go ahead and check that out now. Talk to him about the Cowboys pass rush, about golfing, with why am I playing on the Bills pass rusher who played for the Rams last year, Von Miller. I kept on trying, like, for some reason Vernon Davis was coming up in my head. Golfing with Von Miller. So check that out. It was a fun interview with him. Early Reed is also live, of course. That went live on Tuesday. Reed gave out his best bets for college football this week. I'll be back tomorrow for Daily Betslip with myself and Peter Dewey and special guest Joe Madden. I'm going to talk to her about NHL. She's a fellow Canadian big Flames fan. I'm going to talk to her about the NHL. I'm going to talk to her about Thursday Night Football. So tune in for that, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's all I got for you. Final thoughts. Have I asked you for final thoughts yet?
No, I don't
final
think you
thoughts.
have. What are the final thoughts? Listen, let's have a big day. We have back-to-back days with absolutely everything. Let's get this bread.
Let's get this bread. I like it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Best of luck with your bets tonight. Gambler, bless, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.